Theorem, we have the quotient rule. The limit of a quotient of two functions is the quotient of their limits, except if the limit of the denominator is 0. So, the limit of f of x over g of x as x approaches to c is equal to the limit of f of x as x approaches to c all over the limit of g of x as x approaches to c if the limit of g of x as x approaches to c is not equal to 0. So we have now the quotient rule. Example, the limit of 3x divided by x plus 9 as x approaches 2. So in this case, dalawa yung function natin. Yung nasa numerator we have 3x, yung nasa denominator naman we have x plus 9. And of course, we need to see to it na yung denominator natin should not be equal to 0. So pag magiging equal to 0 siya, so it will become undefined, then the theorem is not applicable. Okay, so para daw masolve ito, same lang ginawa natin sa other operations, all we need to do is to get the limit of the numerator, then also get the limit of the denominator, and after which we're going to get their quotient. So, dun muna tayo sa numerator. So, sa numerator, we have 3x. So, since 3 and x is a product of a constant and a function, so we're going to apply yung theorem natin about the product of a constant and a function. So, we're going to extract or to factor out yung 3 natin or yung constant times the limit of x as x approaches to 2. Okay? So, ito na yung numerator natin. Ito na yung pagkakasulat sa numerator. Now, how about sa denominator? So, kung mapapansin natin sa denominator, we can apply here the sum rule. So, kukunin natin yung limit ni x, i-add natin dun sa limits ni 9. So, we will have the limit of x as x approaches to 2 plus the limit of 9 as x approaches to 2. Okay, we're going to simplify now yung numerator at denominator. So, bring down lang natin yung 3 times the limit of x as x approaches to 2 is equal to 2 all over the limit of x as x approaches to 2 is again equal to 2, then plus the limit of the constant 9 as x approaches to 2 is equal to 9. Simplify lang natin. So 3 times 2, it would be equal to 6, and 2 plus 9 is equal to 11. So the final answer is 6 over 11. 8th theorem, we have the power rule. So the limit of x raised to n as x approaches c is equal to c raised to n, where n is a positive integer. Now let's try applying the power rule. So suppose we have the limit of x cubed as x approaches to 5. So yung magiging sagot natin dito, if we're going to follow yung power rule, x would be equal to 5, right? So we will have 5 raised to 3. So again, sisimplify lang natin. So 5 cubed, it would be equal to 125. So ganito lang kasimple. All we need to do is isa-substitute lang natin yung 5 in replacement sa value ni x. Then we're going to simplify yung given. Next would be the power function rule. The limit of an nth power of a function is the nth power of the limit of the function, where n is a positive integer. In symbols, we have the limit of f of x raised to n as x approaches to c is equal to the quantity of the limit of f of x as x approaches to c, quantity raised to the power of n, where n is a positive integer. So I have here an example using the theorem on the power function rule. So suppose we have the limit of the quantity x raised to 5 minus 2x cubed plus x squared minus 6 quantity raised to the power of 6 as x approaches to negative 1. In case ganito yung magiging problem natin, all we need to do is to simplify muna yung nasa loob ng parentheses before natin sila erase sa particular na power. Okay? So mapapansin ninyo as we proceed or as we go on further sa mga theorems, we can still apply yung mga previous theorems na na-discuss natin. So, to solve this one, kukunin natin yung limits ng bawat term. So, we will have the limit of x raised to 5 as x approaches to -1. So, iisa-isahin na natin sila para hindi tayo malito. Then, we have the limit of -2x cubed. As we all know, we have here a constant and a function. So, pwede natin i-factor out yung constant na -2. So, it will become -2 times the limit of x cubed as x approaches -1. Then, plus the limit of x squared as x approaches -1. Then, finally, minus the limit of 6 as x approaches -1 raised to the power of 6. So, simplify muna natin yung nasa loob ng grouping symbol before natin sila erase sa power ng 6. So, we're going to simplify now each limit. So, again, since we have here an exponent, then we're going to apply yung power rule. So, dito sa first term natin, sa first limit natin, mapapansin natin we have an exponent. So, using yung power rule natin, we simply substitute yung -1 sa value ng x. So, it will become -1 raised to the power of 5. Next, we have -2 times, ito naman, power rule pa rin yung gagamitin natin. So, yung -1, isa-substitute natin sa x. So, we have -1 raised to the power of 3. Plus, same pa rin, power rule. So, we have -1 raised to the power of 2. Then, minus, since this is a constant, so our answer here is also equal to the constant. So, we have -6 quantity raised to the power of 6. Okay. Then, sisimplify lang natin. So, we have -1 raised to 5, that is equal to -1. So, pag yung -1 or any negative number, pag erase natin siya sa exponent, which is an odd number, then automatic, yung answer niya is always negative. Pag even number naman yung exponent natin, the answer will always be positive. So, we have -2 times -1 raised to 3 is equal to -1. Then, we have -1 raised to the power of 2 is equal to +1. Then, -6. Simplify natin further. We have -2 times -1, we have +2. Then, +1 minus 6 raised to 6. Okay? Pwede natin i-combine lahat ng nasa loob ng parentheses. So, you have -1 plus 2, that is equal to +1. +1 plus 1 is equal to +2. +2 minus 6 is equal to -4. So, -4 raised to 6. So, -4 raised to the power of 6 is equal to +4096. And this will be our final answer. 10th theorem. We call this one as the radical rule. So, the limit of the nth root of x as x approaches to c is just equal to the nth root of c, where n is a positive integer and c is greater than 0 if n is even. Now let's apply the radical rule. Suppose we have the limit of the cube root of x as x approaches -27. So, gaya ng sabi sa radical rule, if we're going to get the nth root of a function, all we need to do is to substitute yung value of c natin dun sa given na function. So, we will have here the cube root of -27. So, yung x magiging -27. Then, simplify lang natin. Ano yung cube root ni -27? So, the answer is -3. Because -3 times -3 times -3 is equal to -27. Next example, we have the limit of the square root of x as x approaches 8. So, gaya ng ginawa natin sa number 1, we're going to substitute lang yung 8 sa value ng x natin. So, we will have here square root of 8. Then, isi-simplify lang natin siya. So, pwede tayong gumamit ng calculator, then we can get yung non-terminating na decimal value niya. Or we can also simplify this one using yung laws ng radicals. So, all we need to do is to get yung factors ni 8. Yung factors niya would be 4 times 2, right? In which yung first factor niya is a perfect square. So, pwede natin i-extract yung perfect square. Yung square root of 4 will become 2. So, ilalagay natin, extract na natin siya. Then, 2 will remain inside the radical sign. So, the final answer is 2 square root of 2. And we have the second to the last theorem. We call this one as the radical function rule. The limit of the nth root of a function is the nth root of the limit of the function, where n is a positive integer and f of x is greater than 0 if n is even. So in symbols, we write this one as the limit of the nth root of f of x as x approaches to c is equal to the nth root of the limit of f of x as x approaches to c, where n is a positive integer and f of x is greater than 0 if n is even. So we have now our example. The limit of the cube root of 3x raised to 4 minus 2x squared plus 5x as x approaches to 2. So gaya pa rin ang ginawa natin pag marami ng terms yung binigay, all we need to do is to get the limit of each term. I-apply lang natin yung mga previous theorems na natutunan natin. So we have here the cube root of the limit of the first term. So kung mapapansin natin yung first term natin, we have a constant. So yung constant, we're going to factor it out. So it will become 3 times the limit of x raised to 4 as x approaches 2. Next, ito namang second term natin na negative 2x squared. Again, yung negative 2 natin is still a constant. So ipa-factor out lang natin siya. Negative 2 times the limit of x squared as x approaches to 2. Then finally we have 5x. So same pa rin. So factor out natin yung 5 times the limit of x as x approaches to 2. Simplify natin. So we have here the cube root of 3 times, pwede natin gamitin yung power rule. Isa-substitute lang natin si 2 dito sa value ng x. So it will become 2 raised to 4 minus 2. Same din yung gagamitin natin dito. Isa-substitute natin si 2 sa value ng x. So we will have 2 raised to 2. Then plus 5 times, ang x naman natin dito will become 2. So we will have 5 times 2. And simplify lang natin. So we have the cube root of 3 times 2 raised to 4. When we have 2 raised to 4, it will be equal to 16. So we have 3 times 16 minus 2. 2 squared is 4. Then plus 5 times 2 is 10. Simplify natin further. So we have the cube root of 3 times 16 is 48. Minus 2 times 4 is 8. Then plus 10. So we have the cube root of 48 minus 8 is 40. 40 plus 10 is equal to 50. So ano yung cube root ni 50? Can we think of two numbers in which yung first number is a perfect cube? Okay, wala na. So this would be our final answer. So the final answer is the cube root of 50. And for our last theorem, we have the direct substitution property. If f of x is a polynomial or a rational function, and c is the domain of f, then the limit of f of x as x approaches to c is equal to f of c. So yung lahat ng theorems from theorem number 1 and theorem number 11 can be summed up using the direct substitution property. So all we need to do is to substitute yung domain natin sa C. So if yung domain natin na negative 3 is yung domain ng function or given function natin, then we can substitute negative 3 dito sa values ng x natin. So using the direct substitution, all we need to do is to substitute negative 3 sa value ng x. So we have 2 times negative 3 raised to 5 minus 3. X is magiging negative 3 raised to 4 plus 11 negative 3 squared plus 1. Okay? So para lang nag-shortcut lang tayo, automatic nag-substitute agad tayo dun sa lahat ng values ni x. Then simplify yung given polynomial. So we have 2 times negative 3 raised to the power of 5 is equal to negative 243. Next we have negative 3 and negative 3 raised to the power of 4. That will be equal to positive 81. 1 plus 11, negative 3 squared is 9, plus 1. Simplify lang natin. So 2 times negative 243 would be equal to negative 486. Then, negative 3 times 81, that is equal to negative 243. Then, 11 times 9 is equal to 99. Plus 1. Simplify natin further. Negative 486 minus 243 plus 99 plus 1 is equal to negative 629. And this would be our final answer. And for our last example, we have the limit of x plus 3 all over x squared plus x plus 6 as x approaches to 2. So same pa rin ang ginawa natin, direct substitution pa rin yung gagamitin natin. So sa direct substitution, all we need to do is yung domain is substitute natin sa function natin or sa lahat ng values ni x. So we will have now x plus 3 becomes 2 plus 3. X squared is 2 squared plus 2 plus 6. Then we have 2 plus 3 is 5 all over 2 squared. That is 4 plus 2 plus 6. Simplify natin further. We have 5. 4 plus 2 plus 6 is equal to 12. So the final answer is 5 over 12. Now it's your turn. Try to answer the following questions. And that's a wrap. Please do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel, Sir Ninyo. And you can also post your math problems in the comment section. And we will do our very best to provide solution to your questions. Because remember, every problem has a solution. At kung math ang problema ninyo, ako ang kaagapay ninyo, ako ang Sir Ninyo.